Morning and welcome to this January 24th meeting of the New York Commission on Ethics and Lobbying in Government. We call this meeting to order. I'm going to ask our executive director to make sure that we're doing things appropriately and in order.
Thank you, Chair. This meeting is being held pursuant to and in accordance with the provisions of the state's open meetings law, Article 7 of the Public Officers Law, as well as in accordance with Section 94 of the Executive Law. The meeting room we're using at the New York State Conference Center at 25 Beaver Street in Manhattan is open to the public, as is the conference room at the Commission's offices at 540 Broadway in Albany. And in addition, the address at 541 Osceola Avenue in Winter Park, Florida is also open to the public. In addition, during public session, there's a live stream that can be viewed by going to the Commission's website for the link at www.ethics.ny.gov. In addition, Commissioner Cardozo will be participating in today's meeting by video conference pursuant to the provisions of Public Officers Law 103-A and the Commission's resolution and rules under that provision, including our Resolution 22-03. At this time, Chair, I report that there is a quorum present here in New York, and Commissioner Groenewegen.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes for the public session of November 29, 2023. Is there a motion to approve? And then we'll see if there are any changes. Motion to approve. Commissioner Ayers.
Second.
Vice Chair Austin. Any corrections, additions?
No, we just want to
Corrections. To the minutes. Any corrections? So the question has been called. Sounds like there are none. All those in favor of improving the minutes as we have them, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. The minutes are approved. We'll now go to staff reports, and we'll start with the operations update under attachments B and C.
Correct. Thank you. I should say that for administrative purposes, we have included operations reports both for this past November and for December. But unless commissioners have specific questions about the November report, I'm going to focus your attention on the December report. Here with not only November and December, but also the year to date is the full year of 2023, for full year of the commission's operations. As we have been doing most of 2023 and now 2024, in addition to showing year-to-date comparisons, we're also showing comparisons to the prior months. So you do have both the November and December figures on this table. Now, in the current month, the most recent month is in the first column. What I should say is, and we'll answer any questions you may have. Our activity appears to have reached more or less a steady state, in particular in investigations for complaints that were received and processed by investigation and enforcement staff in 2023. Pretty well mirrors the volume. Yes.
Just a question, just in terms of
Sure.
better understanding situation.
Let me hold on 1 second. Commissioner Groenewegen. Commissioner Groenewegen. She can't hear us. Okay. Did we mute her from here?
No, Jean or Emily may be able to.
Jean can mute her. Jean, can you mute Commissioner Groenwegen's screen, please?
Mr. Groenewegen, can you mute for us, please? Got it. Never mind. We're good.
She's muted. Yep.
No, we're okay.
Well, yeah, Commissioner Evans had a question.
Okay, Commissioner.
My question is, I was just looking at the differential, the year to date in 2023, 2022.
Yes.
That's a differential. If I could assume that the incoming is based on what we can take, it's not based on, the volume is based on what comes in.
Yes,
We can't control that.
correct. Well, I should say it also includes proactively doing matters, whether they're preliminary investigations or open matters by investigative staff. So we do receive complaints. We receive information on the hotline, or any number of ways that information comes in. We receive referrals from a number of outside entities that refer matters to us for our consideration. And in addition, we have self-generated matters that come through our other operations, as well as through other means and sources that we have.
And
I should say, as well as through the press.
so what's a good thing? Numbers increase or decrease? What should I be?
If we weren't getting anything, we would wonder that something is afoot, that maybe our mechanisms, our hotline isn't functioning properly, or the email that we use to transmit matter isn't working. We expect, looking back, I would say a decade, to be getting somewhere between 110, 120 to the high hundreds of complaints, inquiries, and referrals in a given year. That's just a historical factor, but that's about the volume at which the agency runs.
I'm trying to link it to measuring the extent to which our educational activities have improved the situation. So that would improving suggest that we have fewer complaints or more because people are more aware. What?
I don't know the answer to that. I think it's really an interesting question. And I've said this before, it's something that merits study by real experts, academics in the field, statisticians to look at, because you could have obviously improved behavior, conforming behavior, and you could also have a heightened sensitivity and awareness of potential violations and more reporting taking place.
I think it's so since we're, since I think as we look at the budget and we're asked, we got a substantial increase to do this work. And we should be able to demonstrate the degree to which we've been successful, but we haven't been able to define that. We need to define that. Otherwise, these numbers are meaningless to me.
Kavita and then Commissioner Pierce.
Sure, Commissioner Edwards, I agree. I just want to clarify, I think that you were speaking about not the investigations page, but perhaps the ethics page where the
I was
request.
talking about I was looking at the ethics page.
Right, with the
But the principle goes across all of these.
Sure, except, so all I was going to say is that with respect to the request for guidance coming in, it is possible that because of the amount of education that is going out there, people are understanding what the ethics laws are saying and how they pertain to them more clearly. So it's just, yes, obviously training and the education is important across the realm. It just shows up in different ways on different, within the different parts of the agency. So with respect to, the difference in the amount of ethics requests of guidance that have come in, it could be a function of the training. It can also be a function of, the biggest drop off seems to be in post-employment. It could be just a function of, in 2022, you had a lot more people leaving the workforce.
It feels complicated.
Or not necessarily, and just wanting to know what they can and can't do when they leave the state workforce. 2023, I think the economy, the state workforce has increased, and so there are less people leaving the state workforce. So especially because you can see those numbers in the post-employment realm, especially, everything else is about the same, little here or there, but for the most part, the post-employment questions are the ones that have decreased substantially. So it seems like more people are staying in the state workforce, at least for the time being.
Would it make sense to issue some sort of survey to the customers who find these numbers?
Yeah, actually, one of the proposals that we will, of course, be talking about for the comprehensive review is the laws. surveys. In fact, that would include, for example, agency ethics officers and general counsel. Spectrum of branches of government that we have jurisdiction over. That would indeed be part of the process. We can pick up some of that information. That way, the other measure we look at is throughput. It's throughput. So it's not just the volume coming in, it's also the volume going out. So the ability and right sizing our staffing. Adjustments to the deal as it comes through.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Harris.
But just briefly, I think I'm a little bit familiar with trying to estimate impact of enforcement bodies, and it's a really resource-intensive process that doesn't produce clear answers because, like in the police review context, when the police review boards I've worked with, if you see a drop in the complaints, that might mean the police rating is better. That might also mean people don't trust your institution, so they're not filing complaints anymore. Or it might mean that everybody was really busy that year. Like, so to get that data, you'd have to survey the people who
That's what I'm
didn't.
saying.
You'd have to have the people, survey the people who didn't file complaints, but who are they? How do you know why somebody didn't file a complaint? That's difficult information to get. And when this has been done, when people have tried to do empirical research on this, you end up with a lot of sociologists having a lot of exciting disagreements or conventions, but you don't get it's not like you can have a sort of answer like, oh, well, we made an impact and here's what it was, judged by the change in ethical behavior. You can survey the people you interacted with and ask them about the experience.
Well,
I think that's
what I was suggesting.
Yeah, I think
To do that. Yeah, and I think that we have to put into context how we're using data.
Yeah.
And that we're not saying that we also, I think, I'm not necessarily suggesting that we find data to prove effectiveness, but at least find data that help us better understand what was in the mind of the person who submitted the original complaint.
Yeah.
So that we're not sitting here guessing, but that, 20% of the people call in because they trust us or.
Yeah, and I think this is something that we actually had to put on our list of things to do, which I know we'll be talking about later, which is what kind of information do we provide to people who file complaints with us? I think it's a really great idea. And I had suggested at one point, what do we do with people who have got a website to see if that's transparent? So yeah, I totally support the idea.
But lots of work to do in this regard, and we need a plan eventually for how we're going to do it. So it's assess impact. So, Commissioner James.
With the FTS filings, is the drop off, do you think it's a timing issue? No, the buildings appear to.
It's timing. I believe in February, they're going to we'll see an increase in the number of NODs, notices of deficiency that have been issued. It's timing and coordination between the FPS unit and the investigation.
Yeah, I just want to point out a few things. In terms of the report, we're now at halfway mark in the current biennial registration cycle. So number of inquiries are going to start falling off. Last year, we had a very high level of lobbying inquiries coming in as compared with the prior year. That reflects two things. The beginning of the biennial cycle last year, lots of new registrants coming in, lots of inquiries, questions about how to do that. New people coming into the system, filing perhaps for the first time. In addition, we've talked about this at length. We have a new training module on the website for lobbyists, and also for the first time because that requires it for lobbying clients. That generated lots of inquiries. We're now past that process. Under current law, they don't have to take the training for 3 years. We're going to request that be changed 2 years to coincide with the biennials right now. So that number is going to fall off. Carol, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think just about 83% now of those required to take the training, the lobbying ethics training, have now taken it. Something along those lines.
So we should-
But that's a figure.
Sorry, yes, that's correct. That's correct.
So we've done pretty well, but there's that tranche that still needs the training, and that may generate some. Let's see, and the other thing that's impacting the throughput is the fact we hired quite a few new people in the agency under the expanded staffing plan. In fact, we've got a couple of new people who have started since our last meeting. And Michael here? Yeah, there he is. Michael Sanders, Director of Ethics. We've got two people in the ethics division who've come in. Maybe this would be a good time to introduce them, Michael.
Sure. We've brought on board a new deputy director, Erin Lynch. I believe it's in the Albany office. Erin, can you wave? Yeah. Erin was with us once before, and then she took the tour of a couple of other agencies in the state and realized that she had always belonged here. And we've also hired a new associate attorney, Stevie, who's here in the room with us. Comes to us from the not-for-profit sector and having worked for the city of New York, and we're glad to have her aboard.
So welcome to both of you, and welcome home to our colleague in Albany.
Welcome. I'd also like to call Commissioner's attention to cases that's on page 5. As you know, under ECRA, in the expanded training requirement, we are now required to provide annual training to the entire executive branch workforce. It's some 330,000 individuals that is working with ethics officers and trainers in various agencies, their own training staff. You see from these figures that are live online and live training numbers now for last year, total over 140,000. If you add in another 25,000 or so live online trainees from 2022, we have a figure in excess of 166,000. That's roughly half of the total number. And our plan is that live online training going forward will be provided each year to half of the workforce. And in the intervening year, we'll be providing online refresher training. We've actually hit that mark. Took an extra couple of quarters to do it in getting underway. The goal under the plan approved by the commission is by the end of 2025 to complete a full cycle of live training and refresher training, 2-year cycle for every employee in the executive. In addition, staff has introduced an on-demand comprehensive training course, which was rolled out the latter part of last year, and you'll see the figures for that. We were already up to 11,653, and I think the numbers, Marlena, Megan, that doesn't reflect all the reporting yet, I imagine, for December.
That's right. Hi, everyone. This is Megan Hannigan, Deputy Director of Education. I have another plague, so I'm staying at home and making sure no one gets sick. I'm still, they really have until the end of January to keep reporting December, so that number will go up for sure.
Thank you. The point is, we and the agency ethics officers and their trainers and their staff are making huge progress, and they're also exerting huge effort to achieve this goal. And I congratulate them again and thank them for their efforts.
Vice Chair Austin.
Yeah, the numbers are very impressive in many areas in terms of what we've accomplished. I'm wondering, Emily, is it possible for us to highlight that in a press release or something to let the world know that we are moving forward and succeeding in these various areas?
Yeah, that's something we can certainly discuss. We usually do the press release when we compile the annual report so that we have the final numbers for the year, along with additional context and additional analysis with those.
Commissioner Groenewegen and then Commissioner Cardozo.
Thank you. I have one question. At our last meeting, or at least in the minutes from the last meeting, Commissioner James had asked about how well the agency had met its training requirement. There was a reference in the minutes at page 10 to we weren't yet at 100%, and there was a hope that we would be. Have we, in the past couple of months, got there?
Megan?
As far as I know, yes. I mean, I'd have to pull those figures, but as far as I know, everyone is up to date.
And I had
Everyone meaning every agency?
Oh, we're talking internally, right, Commissioner?
no, I was
Groenewegen?
only asking about colleague as an agency.
Right.
Oh, as an agency, okay, I'm sorry.
So we are,
Every commissioner has had comprehensive ethics training. And my understanding is the entire staff has complied with the requirement as well.
Right, and as new folks come on, I'm not, for example, the new associate counsel, I'm not sure he's gotten in yet, but we'll get him in as soon as we can.
Commissioner Cardozo?
On the FDS numbers on page 4 of Exhibit C, there continues to be a significant drop off in the notice compared to last year. The notice of delinquency issued, and then there's a comparable drop off on audit and review of a dramatic drop off. And I wonder if there's an explanation for that.
Yeah, we did have a staffing shortfall, if you will. We had to hire, we had deaths. Illness, the agency. But we're back up to speed. It's just a question of catching up with those. And we may be actually adding another position. Right now, Melinda is looking at the structure to see whether she needs to put in another deputy director in the FDS unit or supplement the staff in another way. But we're back in terms of the throughput we're targeting. We're back where we want to be. So you'll see that number catch up.
It was an unfortunate passing of a colleague here whose life was taken much too soon. I remember her introducing herself to me shortly after I started, and as it turns out, we had mutual friends, long-term friends. It was her family and her family, my friends. And then she passed away. So,
Thank you.
Sure.
But we're back, and we'll have that volume. It will reflect the village habits going forward on that. And speaking of recruiting, such training assistant position to fill in the training unit, the education unit. Again, have a new deputy director and a new associate attorney. We're recruiting for another associate attorney. Investigations and enforcement, Brian Weinberg and his team are looking at how they want to complete their staffing. And then in administration, we should be, before the next meeting, posting for another position in that unit. So we're moving along. So don't forget, December, the education unit held an ethics forum for agency ethics officers, training staff. Update them on certain things, statutory changes, some agency-specific training sessions that the group is arranging, and updates in the monthly training reporting application, which we're hoping will be rolled out for use by agency ethics officers in February. Megan, Marlena, anything to add to that?
Marlena can add on to me if she wishes, but we are in the last phases of internally doing QA testing and that to make sure it goes out without too many hitches, but we're really close and excited. That will be very exciting for me since right now all those monthly statistics are coming in by emails and being put in manually by me and Brianna in an Excel spreadsheet. So this change will be great.
And I should add that that's phase one. The systems we're putting in place to assist the training initiative. We're targeting June for the overall system to be prepared. That's a huge effort that's underway now, working in coordination with the Office of Information Technology Services. And it's coming along well. In addition, the lobbying division has been conducting training sessions. And they too had one in December. Carol, can you provide more information about that and what you have coming up? Carol Quinn, our director of.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Sure. So we held one in December on how to file in the lobbying application. We're calling it the lobby application basics training. This one in December focused on how to file client semi-annual reports and source of funding disclosures. That followed one that we had in November on how to file registrations. They're very well attended. We're getting like 150 to 200 people attending them. And then we have another one scheduled for mid-February that we'll announce soon. And that one's going to be about how to file bi-monthly reports in the lobby application.
Okay, thank you. Unless there are any other questions?
Questions, comments?
All
All right. So are we on the budget now?
We're on to the budget.
All right.
E,
We'll do both. Budget up, 24 budget updates.
Current year projection is that we will not consume all of, but we'll come relatively close to consuming this year's budget. Had we been able to complete recruiting more quickly than we've been able to, we would have exhausted the budget. But we're in good shape going forward. As I've said before, on the non-personal services side, we're over the allocation, the appropriation. But that's just a matter of moving cash from personal services to non-personal services. So we'll be good by the end of the year. On the 2024-25, the upcoming budget, the governor delivered her budget message and her proposed budget bill. We have received a recommended appropriation that somewhat exceeds our ask. We had asked for a little over 7.9 million. The recommended appropriation is a little over $8 million. So a total increase of $279,000. We're asking for $143,000 more to cover our expenses. And is less based on the state accounting system, but we should be good both in terms of filling out our projected expanded staffing plan and in terms of expenses. Again, we may have to move money from personal services to non-personal services in the course of the year. That's not going to be an issue. We'll just work with the division of budget to accomplish that. I did circulate yesterday my proposed written testimony for the joint hearings of the legislature. Very short notice, the committee chairs jumped on this right away. They actually started hearings on Tuesday. Our hearing, our tranche, public safety, public protection, is set for tomorrow. So we have to get a written testimony. If anybody has any suggestions, changes, corrections, anything, just let me know. But we're writing in support of the appropriation. We think it matches our projections and matches the budget nicely that we asked for.
Right. Well, I hope it's a positive sign. It seems a positive sign that we actually gotten more resources than we requested. And I hope it holds throughout the negotiations. And we all stand ready to do whatever we can to make sure that happens.
That's our hope. I want to say it's our expectation. Let's see where it works out. Fortunately, although there were concerns that there would be cuts, whether it's deep or modest, overall budget going forward. The governor was able to avoid that. So we're not seeing anything across the board, whether there's going to be tussling or not among. But we feel a sense of affirmation that we're doing the right thing. And that's reflected in the governor's recommendation. And again, if anybody has any questions.
Questions, comments, Commissioner Edwards?
A quick question. In the letter you mentioned that the request is the minimum amount that we need to achieve our objectives. I know when you prepared the budget, it was prepared to confines of what would be available. We tried to that we have pretty much a flat budget for pretty much.
Yeah, we're estimating a flat budget.
So my question is overall, I guess the word minimal piqued my interest. And I'm wondering, when you prepared the initial budget, with the constraints that you were required to prepare it, did it require you to reduce your expectations for the agency?
No, I mean, I have to say, we didn't submit a flat budget. We submitted a budget request, and we requested 140,000 more. They were not.
That's not a lot of money.
Yeah, not a vast increase, but it reflected a growing agency and the kinds of things you have to go through when you're growing. So I'm sure as we move along, as we digest the additional staff and the additional responsibilities, and we move through this, unquestionably going to be things that we want to do that will have costs associated with them. And if they can't be accommodated within the budget we have, then we'll be seeking an increase for next year. But in terms of what we plan to do, and the kinds of costs we expect to incur, this budget takes that into account. And our budget request did as well. And that included things like augmenting ITS's capabilities by providing them with a consultant to pay for. With the monies that we had, we're going to be bringing in clients group like Deputy Angelini is working on very actively bringing a new case management system. Our current system it's not as robust as they would like it to be, and so they're going to bring in a much more powerful system. But we have the ability to pay for that within the budget that we have. We're going to be looking at during the coming year, so we're not there yet, and this would be more for next year, getting a new system to manage the financial disclosure statements that we've seen in the process. That's an older system as well. It works, but it doesn't work as efficiently as we would like. So that's one of the things, but that's prospective.
We have a dedicated person that's been working with us.
The first part is yes. The second part is that's with us.
Oh, okay.
It's not the case. They have other customers and clients. But we do. Oh, in terms of the consultant, yes, the consultant is our consultant for our needs. And I should say that in addition, I didn't mention it. We have posted for the information technology business analyst. We're able to move things around a little bit. And because of all these IT projects that we have going, it's going to be very helpful to us to have somebody who has the knowledge, speaks the correct language to translate what we need into IT language and make it happen. It's a tremendous amount of work. Talking to the Carol's group. Marlena is doing the training. Marlena, yes, our learning innovation director, deputy director, is working very hard on the financial securities projects we have going on and adding business analysts to really augment our capabilities.
And I'll come up with just a kind of basic request from the commissioners. I would think I can safely speak on behalf of most of us, that we somehow figure out a way to get access to our ethics email accounts. That it's complicated as this process. Yeah.
It's security. I mean, that's the challenge. Because we did, particularly because we experienced a malicious hack.
Yeah.
We'd be particularly sensitive to it.
I get it.
That's why it's been on our devices.
Yeah, so exactly. So, but I'll make the case, and I shouldn't do this, but I'm doing it. Just to make the point. So I sit on another commission, it's federal commission. It's public that we were hacked by a foreign power. And they still were able to get the appropriate security so that we can access our email through an app on our phones. So I'm going to continue to make the case that that'll be easier.
We will set up a tutorial with ITS and we'll walk everybody through the process. It's not onerous. It's multi-factor. And you need to use right, or say secure ID.
But the passwords expire and it's re-entered and blah, blah, blah. So, but let's not belabor it. I mean.
Well, I don't want to belabor it, but everything we do, and Emily was able to save us a good deal of money, right? Different platform for getting our newsletters or communications out. But it's a well-known application, but the vetting process and the back and forth we had to go through in order to provide ITS with access to the kinds of things they needed access to vet this program were elaborate. Months and months and months. And the same thing for any new hires they have. Very extensive background check. It's going on to very.
All right, thank you. Any more on the budget? All right, Commissioner per diem, I'm clearly doing something wrong here. What? Yeah. That's it. But here we are.
All right, they're under tab F. I won't read them to the record. We'll post them after the meeting on our website. We tell them state in December 20th, it is 37 cents, $825.82. And it covers commission meetings October, November, the November roundtable, and prep time commission. Submitted various commissioners good for April, May, June, July, August, and September.
Yeah, I'm sure this one's.
But that's the total. And again, it's in the book, it's on the website, and we'll post the finals. Meetings.
All right. If there is no other public business at this point, we'll come back. But right now, we're going to adjourn to if there's let me see if I can. Maybe we have a motion to adjourn to executive session pursuant to Public Officers Law, Section 105, Executive Law 94, Subsection 11, to address matters concerning employment of personnel pending litigation and investigative and enforcement matter that is confidential pursuant to Section 94 of the Executive Law. Is there such a motion? So we'll go with Commissioner Ayers.
has a question, but he's muted.
Let's get the motion on the table and then we'll get the question.
Will there be any motion?
So the motion is made by Vice Chair Austin and is seconded by Commissioner James. All right, Commissioner Cardozo, you're muted. You're muted. Commissioner Cardozo, you're muted.
We can't hear you.
You evidently can't hear us.
And he's on his ass.
Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Go ahead. Commissioner Cardozo, go ahead.
Actually, we can hear you.
Commissioner Cardozo, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Go ahead. Yeah.
But we don't have to log in again. If we're
Oh,
on-
the executives.
We do. There's a different
Yes.
WebEx for executive session. So this will close out and then the executive session meeting notice that had put the start time at 10:30, you'll need to log in to.
I see. Thank you.
Ready?
Yep.
Are we ready to vote? All those in favor of adjourning to executive session, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, we are adjourned. And we will.
You're live.
Thank you and welcome back to this, the resumption of the public session of this January 24th meeting of the Commission on Ethics in Lobbying in Government in the State of New York. We will ask our Executive Director, Mr. Sanford Berlin, if he will read for us a summary of our conversations and decisions in executive session.
Thank you, Chair Davey. In the executive session, the commission discussed matters related to litigation and legal advice. The commission discussed personnel-related matters. The commission discussed guidance and guidance-related matters pursuant to Executive Law, Section 94.7. The commission approved 2 executive laws, Section 94.10, subdivision F, reports and recommendations, including 1 recommendation to close a matter. The commission discussed steps in several investigative matters. The commission closed 12 additional matters, and the commission discussed several other investigative matters.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on that readout? Okay, hearing none, we will continue with the agenda as that was published, and we will ask the Vice Chair Austin, to speak to our memorandum of recusal that we've been considering for the last couple of meetings.
All right, our code of conduct is really basically finished, and when we conclude this portion of it, I'm going to make 2 motions. One will be reviewing this amendments to the draft that we have, and then to approve the entire code of conduct as we have previously discussed and agreed to. You just received a red line, well, it's not really red because it's in blue, a couple of changes that were made after the fact that was from what was originally distributed. Even though it's written in the form of a motion with whereases and everything else, really the motion, it's what's going to change will be from about the bottom third of the first page where it says H5. Everything before that will not appear in the code of conduct.
Was this emailed to us?
Yes. Earlier today by Ava.
Oh, okay, that's the red line draft?
This is the one that was circulated to commissioners the other evening.
Okay, just wanted to make sure that's the one.
Okay, so it's from HI down, and the memorandum of recusal, which will become part of the code of conduct itself. One of the changes that we made is rather than having everybody receive the document, it will go to the executive director who will distribute it to the rest of us. So on the memorandum of recusal, it says 2 general executive director, general counsel, and commission members. We're going to take out general counsel and commission members. If we change it up above in terms of the distribution of the list itself. Otherwise, we added in potential conflict of interest, and Ava, I believe, has a couple of other words that we are suggesting be just we.
So the red line that I sent around substantially replaced 2 paragraphs.
Substantially replaced.
Yeah, paragraph H2, the version that I sent around, essentially rewrites because it.
Commissioner, when did you send your?
This was at 11 a.m. this morning, according to my.
The updated version.
Right. This is all this stuff. They don't have this stuff that we did The same thing there. I feel like.
I have nothing in my email. You said something about time.
11 o'clock this morning.
He's in the meeting.
It's really just a tweak of what we discussed.
Let's see if I can.
I mean, I can try to read it out, but I don't know if people will be comfortable voting on it.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so the change I made was H2 would be amended to read as follows. The recusal list shall identify each organization, entity, and/or individual, so sort of thing, subject to the commission's regulatory authority, although we're changing that, subject to the commission's jurisdiction, with which the commissioner has had a personal, professional, financial, or other direct or indirect relationship within the past 2 years. And each organization, entity, or individual as to which, if they were the subject of commission action, a conflict of interest might arise. Or because the commissioner's impartiality in the deliberation or vote relating to the determination of the matter may reasonably be questioned. It's the end of H2.
You got an extra B in there.
No, in the draft. I took it out when I spoke, but I didn't. And then the text of the memorandum of recusal is, as Len said, is substantially similar, but I broke it into sentences for clarity. If people are still cool with me reading, I'm not convinced this is the best way to approach it, but I probably depend. Blank as a duly appointed member of POLIC, same language, pursuant to the Commissioner's Code of Conduct and Executive Law, blah, blah, hereby discloses the following list of potential conflicts of interest. Period. This list includes organizations, entities, and individuals, if they are subject to the Commission's jurisdiction, we want to say. And then there's 2 subsections. 1, I have had a personal, professional, financial, or other direct or indirect relationship with the organization, entity, or individual within the past 2 years. Or, number 2, my relationships with them could, if they were the subject of commission action, require my recusal based upon a conflict of interest, or because my impartiality, and then it's the same, in the deliberation and or my vote relating to the determination of the matter may reasonably be questioned.
And then is there, I see general.
Then there'll be the numbered, and then just pick it up from the numbers 1 through 5, add additional sheets if necessary, and then the closing pursuant to the Commissioner's Code of Conduct and Executive Law. I understand that from time to time during my tenure, you should have this on your sheets that you received. The only thing that happens is we cross out general counsel, commission members at the very bottom.
So everybody has this before them. You can see the recommended changes. Do you want to move it?
I do.
So the motion is to accept this recusal form with the changes.
I just have a quick question. I just want to make sure that,
I
just want to make sure that staff has the correct language. We have it? Yeah.
We have the email.
Okay. So was there any additions made with Vice Chair Austin?
But what Commissioner Ayers read, what we finished with at 11.
I will also, if it passes, email you the final and corrected text directly so that there's no.
I keep the same, he's got it.
I'm saying, but you can take a look at what I did and.
Yeah, we have some notes, but having it.
You'll have it.
Yes, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
if people are comfortable with it.
So all the commissioners had this before them. Commissioner Austin has moved it. Is there a second? Commissioner James seconded the motion. Is there any more discussion or questions? Uncertainty. All right, are we ready to vote? All those in favor of approving this recusal form, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The aye, so that's six ayes, one nay, and one abstention.
5 ayes, 1 nay, and 1
Are
abstention.
there only 7 of us?
No,
There are 8 of us.
There are 8 of us.
mathematically.
Yeah, so it's 6, 1, and 1. So the motion is approved.
And now, if I may, I would make a motion that now with H being part of the, being adopted as part of the code of conduct, that the code of conduct as a whole now be,
We already approved it.
Can I,
well, I checked and I was told no.
I want to clarify. The reason this came up is that when we adopted the code, I don't think we need any more to adopt it.
So then the.
My suggestion was that we adopt it as a resolution, even though it doesn't have whereas clauses. Because I think it's weird for us to have such an important governing document that's not one of our resolutions. Given that that's where everybody's going to look for our governing documents and new members will probably.
So what do you,
Ask a question for you. So if you're here physically, if there's a quorum at the place where the public is, then the people not here can vote, is that the way it works?
right,
Okay. I didn't understand that before.
so what are we voting as a resolution? Are we voting the code of,
Next to the code of
full
conduct.
text of the code of conduct, which includes this recusal form?
That's right.
That's now part of it.
It's an appendix.
Excited for that.
So we approved the code of conduct previously. We just approved this recusal form that's a part of the code of conduct. Commissioner Ayers is requesting I'll call it a little more technical approach, that we turn this into a resolution.
The resolution 24-01 colleague.
So it becomes one of the official resolutions of COLA that is available to the public
On our resolutions page.
on the resolutions page of the agency.
You want to stay in the form of a resolution in terms of whereas the commission previously adopted.
So it'll be separate from the code of conduct.
No, it is just a code of conduct. It is a code of conduct with this included.
Whereas at the November 29th, 2023 meeting, the commission adopted a code of conduct, which specifically left out Article 1, Section B, Paragraph 1, Subparagraph H. And whereas that section was adopted at this meeting, therefore be it resolved that now the code of conduct as approved by the commission be adopted as a resolution of the commission.
It's pretty straightforward.
Just the one correction, make it to the October 25th, 2020.
I'm sorry, October 20th, I stand corrected.
So is that clear?
Needs a second.
You need a second. All right. So the resolution is to turn the code of conduct. The motion is to turn the code of conduct into a resolution that will be posted on the resolutions page of the agency and available to the public. It's been seconded by Commissioner Ayers. Is there any more discussion on this? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Abstentions? So the motion is approved 7-1. All right. Thank you all.
We will, staff will transcribe that as formal resolution.
Thank you.
And I have your email, we can say the changes.
Thank you. So now we have on the agenda a review of committee structure. I would like to propose that we have a special meeting before the next meeting in February that will include three things. One, a case that may be before us that we might have to decide on. Two, a review of our group dynamics and how we might address them as a body. And three, governance issues as it relates to the commission. And we will work with our staff and our schedules to determine when that special meeting is going to be. But I hope sometime soon, if we can work it out.
When is the next board meeting, commission meeting?
February 21st.
But then we have to be before.
Yes.
You're away.
I'm away so February 9 to 16, at least that's what's scheduled at the moment. Okay. So is there agreement there? I don't think we need to have a vote on that. Just, well, maybe we should, since we're saying we're going to call a special meeting. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Commissioner Austin, seconded by Commissioner Carvalho?
Yes.
All right. Any more discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. No other business. Commissioner Cardozo.
Just one thing, the legislative working group will be meeting right after this meeting. But one thing that I think we need a commission vote on is there are potential pieces of legislation that are on our legislative agenda that we may want individual commissioners who have a relationship with organizations that may support us. I think we would want the relevant people to be reaching out to those organizations, even though some of those organizations may, on totally different issues, be opposed to us. And so to avoid any appearance of conflict, for example, the City Bar Association, of which I was the former president, is an advocate in favor of many of our legislative issues. I think it would be helpful to me, helpful to the commission, for me to reach out to the City Bar Association to urge their support. On the other hand, the City Bar Association has a couple of unrelated items that we oppose. And so as I understand our discussion of a couple of months ago, we should get commission approval for commissioners to reach out to those organizations. And so I just didn't want any misunderstanding that, for example, we may want the State Bar Association to reach out in support, and assume Seymour James, the former president, has a relationship, and he might, no guarantee, might want to reach out. And just wanted to be sure that there would be no complaints about our doing so. And so I would.
Go ahead, Mike.
So I would move that we approve individual commissioners reaching out to organizations to urge their support for items in our legislative agenda.
That's the motion. Is there a second?
The second.
Okay. Seconded by Vice Chair Austin. Discussion.
So what we're saying is just that it's okay for commissioners to reach out to advocacy groups in support of our legislative agenda. That's what we're voting on.
Advocacy groups with which we have a relationship, so that it might, and which they, on other issues, they might be opposing us.
Okay, yeah, I'm fine with that.
And just to complete the record, many, if not all, of those advocacy groups are also lobbying entities, some of which list lobbying activity vis-a-vis this commission.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So,
All right. We understand the motion. Are we ready to vote? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no.
And abstain, because I think there's a lot more information about who's gonna reach out to whom, and whether that, violates another part of our code of conduct that we already agreed to, and some types.
So 701. All right. Any other new and other business? Mr. Ayers.
Something that we said we would return to. So the process of creating a process for comprehensive review of our regs as required by the executive law. In the interest of time, if I could, I think the only thing that needs saying right now is hopefully the following, and Sandy, tell me if you think we need to add to it. But as you all know, I've been sort of working with Sandy and others to try to move this forward. We had agreed earlier that a group consisting of myself and Commissioner Caraballo and Commissioner Groenwagen would meet to review the staff's more detailed proposal, which we now have. In light of the conversations that have been happening about inclusiveness and structure on the board, I didn't want to assume that I understood where folks were on how this process should move forward. But I am, as I've said, deeply concerned that it's taking us this long to get started, and I'm hoping that we can move forward. So what I would ask, if it's okay, is just this. I've now got a draft from the staff about a more detailed way to go forward with this process. Commissioner Groenwagen and Commissioner Caraballo, if you want to be part of that conversation, just let me know. If anybody else wants to be part of that conversation, I will make sure to include you. We won't decide anything. This is just to bring back to the full group what folks think is workable. But I would also ask, if any of you think I need to stop and wait for this conversation about intergroup relations and structure before reviewing staff's proposal and getting back to them with feedback, please let me know that. Otherwise, I will go ahead.
Yeah,
With whoever wants to join.
I would like to wait until we have our conversation.
You wanna wait?
Yes, I would like to wait. But we're gonna do it before the next meeting anyway, so I would like to wait.
All right. Any other comments on this?
No, I just want to state to Commissioner Ayers, as I stated, because my schedule's been so crazy for the month of January, I will follow up with you as soon as I am back home.
For sure. Yeah.
All right. Any other comments? Any other new business or other business to come before this body? All right. Is there a motion that we adjourn this meeting? So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor of adjourning the meeting, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Very wise. The motion is approved. Let me thank the public, those of you out there who stayed with us. Thank you. Let me thank, as always, the staff, this very diligent and hardworking staff that keeps us moving forward in the work of this commission. And let me thank my fellow commissioners for all of their hard work, commitment, and dedication. And with that, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
But the legislative
For the legislative